Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of the Compliance Playbook. When we are into GRC and InfoSec, one thing that scares every founder or every security leader is that audit is around the corner. But why? Why are they scared of when we tell them the audit is around the corner? Is because most of the times they are not ready, or might be they're ready but they're not confident. To talk about this very difficult and important topic, why people are not ready, why people are scared of audit. Today we have got Komal Vora with us. She brings more than 2 decades of experience into the information security. She has worked at the premium organizations like Yes Bank. Currently she is a CISO at Equifax. So we'll welcome her and we'll try to understand that why this word audit scares all the founders. So let's get started. Hi Komal, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
So, Komal, let's start from the very basic because, like I said, and like I also speak to a lot of my founder friends in the information security or outside information security, the moment they get to know that there's going to be some audit, it can be internal, external, regulatory, statutory, why they are scared, like what can be done, just forget the readiness, forget everything about the information security. Why this audit word sense the chill around the spine. Why is it so? If you can share from your experience, because you've been in the industry for so long, you have been auditor yourself. So please, let's start from there.
Actually, whenever any audit comes, whether it is regulatory or third party audits, vendor audits, whatever. See, everyone is only scared of one thing, that no, critical observations come out, which hits them.
Hmm.
So if it's a regulatory, if critical thing comes up, that means the reputational risk, there may be penalties, then, that the environment would come to know, the sector would come to know, then it harms their reputation. So that is the biggest worry people have. That's
Hmm.
why, people get scared. That is the only basic financial impact and reputational risk. These are the two things, people get scared of.
So
Otherwise, we are good
Komal,
to go.
Komal, but do you think this is just because of the regulatory or like you said, the financial or the reputation? Or is it also because people are not confident of what they're doing?
Correct. So actually, what my mantra or my strategy always remains is, whatever I also tell my team, continuously work the whole year. Why you're getting scared? When you're working the whole year,
Hmm.
it's okay to present. It's just the exam which you are giving and it will just show you the result. But the whole year you have worked, so you need not be scared of. You know much more than that, the auditor, right? The auditor who comes up from external, he is from a different environment, different sector. Who knows best? You as a person or the staff of the company knows the best. You know what are the loopholes, you know storytelling, you should know how to twist, turn, and how to take that conversation so that it doesn't hit you. And be prepared now. Whatever you know, be factually correct. You showcase and give assurance to them. It's as simple as them. It's actually a simple science. There's nothing to hide. So
Yeah.
so work hard the whole year. Okay, produce all documentation and be prepared for that RBI or any audit day. So then you'll be prepared always. Anytime someone says
Yeah.
I'm coming from tomorrow, we say okay, please come, welcome, we are all ready, set, all policy set, all procedures set, SOPs set, staff is
Everything is
set,
said.
demos are set. What to worry? Configuration already done, reviews are done.
Yeah.
So be prepared. There's nothing, I mean, this is nothing. It's just a mind game. How you
A very
manage, that
yeah.
is important.
I think one thing you said very well, Komal. I think in fact the 2 points. One you're saying is the readiness, and second thing I think if I'm working inside the company as a security analyst or a security manager or a CISO, I know more than the person who's coming inside. And you talked about the readiness, so let's deep dive there into readiness because we talk about audit. There are certain general controls irrespective of the organization. You're into BFSI, you're non-BFSI, but there are certain general control we should be always aware of, specifically from the audit point of view. So let's touch upon those general controls. Like what are those 3 or 4 general controls we should know about them, and what should be our audit readiness for those general controls. So if you can just help with that, Komal.
So basically, ITGC is all about, the access user management piece. That is
Yeah,
all access of all staff and vendors. That should be need to
yeah,
know basis. That's a basic rule, thumb rule. Whether it is ISO 27001, whether it is NIST or any framework. All frameworks talk about access control and it should be need to know basis. The basic rule.
got it.
Then we have the change management. So change
Mm,
management also, anything touching the production, any changes on production, that has to be going through the proper software development life cycle process. So if that is followed, that also goes smooth, and you create evidences. Tickets are raised in the proper service now tickets, and how evidence is attached, what are the risk assessments done before that, pen testing done or not before any new functionality or new product enters into the production environment. Those are the basic rules, generic rules of change management. Why, what, for what. So that is the basic requirements of change management. Approvals are in place or not. Top
Mm.
business till the end, the actual implement. So all the teams are there, maker checkers are in place. So that works. Then change management. Then we have BCP DRP controls, business continuity planning,
That's
disaster
good.
recovery planning. So how in the any adverse incident happens, okay, then how your systems or your staff or how your company will recover. So that is how that process has to be set in the business continuity
Mm.
planning. Who are the stakeholders which we need to inform, whether it's external, internal, what manual processes you will set in place or you will trigger. Those kind of things is always in the planning of business continuity, where anything happens in the
Mm.
organization as an incident, but the work should go on. Customers
Got
should
it.
have a seamless experience.
Got it.
So, be any incident, whether it is natural calamity, a terrorist attack, or earthquake, anything it is. If your company is ready with these kind of BCP, DRP, we call it resilience.
Yeah.
There are certain tabletop exercises which we conduct. We conduct simulation exercises. Any cyber attack happens, then what needs to be done? Who will get
Mm.
communicated? How? What are the decision maker? Who are the decision makers? How those decision will fall in steps wise, and then how things are organized, and again you are up and running on the shop. So that
Mm.
is what is the main requirement of BCPDR. So these are the basic ones which are usually taken care of in the IT general controls. So be it any process, procedure of your organization based on the services which you all offer. So that
Yeah.
is the main part in terms of ITGC, IT general
Got
controls.
it. Got it. So, Komal, we spoke about, or might be you mentioned about, three general control. One is like around the access management, change management, and third thing is around the resilience, data recovery and everything. So, if I may ask, actually, when we talk about the access management, auditors, they always try to find around the loopholes. Like you mentioned something and you have not done it. Because a lot of companies, specifically the small companies where infosec is just a team of two or three people, they might have the policies, they might have the documentation written around the access management, around the joiner mover lever, but most of the times it not necessarily the lever controls get triggered immediately at the time the person is leaving. There could be some manual controls around it because not everyone can afford the automated controls.
Correct.
Do you think from the audit perspective that should be like what is right way, like should the audit be lenient because you're a very young company, it's okay, or should be, that should be the kind of an extra cost or an extra caution that company should take irrespective. I'm a young, I'm just taking example of access management that could apply everywhere. Like should
Correct.
that
Correct.
should that caution be taken by the company that okay, if the lever is leaving, that should be an automated control? How to find that balance,
Balance.
like good balance between, yeah.
So how I think is the budgets are approved by the management. Management
Mm.
are all salespeople or business people. To convince them on controls, you should have some return of investment to be
Yeah.
sold to them, and that also in a very
Mm.
layman language. So,
Yeah.
and as a responsible, accountable leadership, one should also rethink whether it is really going to benefit something. If I have a manual control and I have a small business of some x amount, we
Yeah.
are trying to implement certain controls which are huge, it will be too much of a cost in terms of operations. So that is not a good idea. So we have to have some balance. What I think is usually it has to be a right balance. So you should have talk to your technology, talk to business, and as an infosec, all three teams have to come together, discuss, debate, and then come with a
Mm.
conclusion or final decision. Does says you need to have that tool or this tool, doesn't means as a company or as an organization, our responsibility, because we get salary from that organization, so we have to
Yeah.
understand those things also in terms of check and balances, that how business is doing, whether we can afford those things or whether we can do it in a manual mode, but the same
Uh,
effect or objective is achieved. So that should be also fine. See, certain time it is not always the case that you need to have automated controls.
Yeah.
So bigger mature organizations, definitely, like if I say identity access management, if I say passwordless single
So
access, I mean MFAs are there, multiple
yeah,
factor authentication. So there are many layers. It depends. First is business can only spend if business is happening in the company. So if
yeah,
you are a small, just initiated the process, or you are a staff, don't have that much process. So until unless you are that stable in terms of business or the financials, it is very difficult for an organization to
got it.
ensure or set up those controls. So it has a check and balances which you can discuss with all your stakeholders and come to a conclusion which everyone agrees, and then everyone is responsible and accountable for whatever has been decided. So everyone needs to stand by it.
But Gopal, I think the one thing that you said, now I really want to highlight that part for everyone listening to this. So, like when auditors they're auditing or they're testing your controls and everything, they can only find the loophole in the scope you have given. Because I think you said very well, right thing. Like if you can highlight it from the beginning, you can give them the scope that we have manual controls, and this is how the way we have designed it. There is no way auditor can drive you away and say no, 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 that you have to automate it, because
No,
it's your business. You know the risk. You know that what can you accept, what can you, and what you want to mitigate. If your business is not that big enough and you're okay to take that risk, nahi yaar, I am okay that I will have this manual control. And this is something every founder needs to understand, that the controls have to be designed based on your business understanding, not what your auditor wants. And eventually you to give the scope in the beginning when the audit starts, that this is what my business looks like, this is what my risk management framework is, these are my policy, and this is what I have done. But I think this
correct.
is where, when this new business owners, specifically where those who do not come from the infosec background, they get too overwhelmed with this. Like, okay, no, auditor has asked it, so we need to do it. No, that's not the right way. You should not do it just because the auditor has asked you. You should do it if your business demands it. So I think
Correct.
that's very well the way you have put up,
Risk
Komal.
acceptance. There are deviations,
Yeah,
there are
yeah,
risk
yeah.
acceptance. So
You
that
have to,
process in place,
you
you
know
can
what you
give
can
them left,
accept.
right, and center. No one can challenge the management strategy and board challenge, board
Yeah,
members. So if board
got
agrees,
it.
approved, risk acceptance, deviation taken, no one can touch you. No one, believe me, no one.
Okay. So, Komal, you told me about this audit thing. I think the one more important point when we are talking about the audit is the collection of evidence. Again, I think a lot of company owners, so a lot of information security teams, they do not understand the value of collecting the evidence regularly at a periodic interval. They wait that when the auditor will knock the door, and then they will go haywire talking to the database team, patch teams, checking their emails, checking their Slack messages, and then there's a complete mismanagement. And that's what auditor is looking for, that loophole, because you make mistake when you are in hurry. So I would really want you to touch upon that point, that how any team, irrespective big or small, how they should look at this evidence management thing, like when they should collect it. Should it be periodic, or should it they just wait, like when the auditor will come, we will look at that time. So please just help on that, Komal.
So collection is something that as and when you are doing that work, you'll have to collect. Then only you will be ready for the RBI audit or any audit, because it might be a surprise audit and you won't even get time to prepare yourself or plan yourself. So if as an organization, all processes of your organization has inbuilt evidence collection and archival, no auditor can touch you. So I tell my team that you all are doing good job, good work, technically very sound, doing everything in terms of control and ensuring that the controls are effectively working also. But the weak part of theirs is they miss on documentation. So someone from within the team, if tries to always drive that documentation part or archival part with evidence collection, it can be a screenshot, it can be some log evidences or audit trails which you need to produce, email archivals, approvals in place. So that documentation, either it is from your automated service now workflows, or you have your manual emails, so you need to archive them. So that has to be done on the real time basis. So whenever that activity is
Got it.
getting performed, it has to be inbuilt as a default work to be done, because we have to remember that D day when someone comes and
uh,
gives you certificate or report. So if you want a
yeah,
best report, you have to be always ready. You can't wait for the last day, because believe me, if you wait for the last day and you prepare that time, okay, 15 days I will finish it off. No, you will miss something or the other, because
yeah,
when it is subjective, these kind of documentation, evidence collection, you will miss on something or the other. And the auditors will get a chance to give one observation without reason.
No, that's the mentality. Actually,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the reason I ask this because so what we do, at Komal, like at Narad.io, it's like we have automated the process of InfoSec questionnaire. Like every time you receive this new InfoSec checklist from your client or from regulator, most of the companies they do it manually. So what we do, like every time you receive this questionnaire, just give it to Narad. Narad will look at all your policy documents and everything and populate the response for you. And he will also attach the evidence for you, depending what you uploaded. I get this question always. Like, how will you get the evidence? Like, is it automated and something? And I always tell them, like, why can't you drop all the evidences on first of the month? Like the calendar month start, whatever you had done in previous month, just make a folder and put it there. Because like anytime an auditor comes, if you're telling them that this particular evidence is like of this month, no one is going to question you. But no, they are like we don't know how to get it, and that's where they get shot most of the time. Like they become lazy, or they do not give this enough importance of collating or collecting or documenting the evidences in the right format in the right time, and that's where bother them a lot when the real auditor or the real regulator knocks the door. That's the reason I ask you about, like, what is it about the evidence management that they can do. And I think you highlighted it very well, that just document it when you have done the process. You do not need to wait it until even that. Like I tell them, end of the month, you are like, do it then and there. Khatam karo. Why do you want to waste the time?
Parallelly do it. It
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
more
So now,
easier, right? Our memory as a human being is very short. It's always good that, as and when you're doing, simultaneously prepare that also. Take help from your
got
team and
it.
just do it.
That Komal, now I think, like, in 2025, we are towards the end of 2025. I have not come across a single event or a single wherever I have gone to the events or to the different programs. Like people have been talking about AI, the artificial intelligence. What do you think? Like how artificial intelligence is changing this whole auditing world from both the sides, from the auditor side and from the auditee side? Like what has been your view in this year, or eventually, how do you see that AI is transforming this space of auditing?
See, AI is a new technology. Everyone has to adopt. We can't just say, I'll close my eyes and I won't do it. No, it's not the case because hackers are collaborating, using AI tools and attacking. You also need to have a defense which is AI based. You
Yeah,
can't say that, I won't adopt the technology. No. But
yeah,
what are the
yeah,
risks while adopting that technology needs to be taken care of. So if those risks which are there associated with those new technologies, if you take care and the
yeah,
proper governance of framework you set in terms of, as I said, people, process, technology, think, then you have the actual visibility of where are the gaps. And then once you know
yeah,
the gaps or identify the gaps, you yourself can, you and your teams can, or management can accordingly plan the actions. So I always see any technology as a value addition.
yeah,
I'm very positive to anything coming in. So wherever I have worked, I usually have some person actually doing research and development that what is happening in the sector. I network a lot with other peers of mine, all right, and understand what they are doing, what new things they are doing,
mm,
what they are following, what are their processes to manage these kind of gaps which are observed. We as a discuss mature professionals, keeping the confidentiality in place and sharing peer knowledge and experience, or trying to strengthen each other's environment and network, and ensuring that those gaps are mitigated, or effectively closed and processed. So, and it should be a seamless experience for the employees, employer, as well as auditors, because when you both are prepared, auditor will have a smooth journey for his audit also, because you will be already ready. He will say, okay, give me this indent within 2 hours or 1 hour, you'll be able to present those. So you go on
yeah,
seeing document, nothing you will get. But one thing is there, what we do is during the, see, I have worked on both the sides.
good.
So see, auditors also come up with scripts, like using,
Yeah,
they will also use tools which now it is open market, so everyone has that. But as an organization, you may allow, disallow. So my usual strategy when auditors enter in and they want to use that we restrict, because as per policy of the companies, those things are not allowed, because we don't know the risk of that tool which they are carrying in with their laptops and all. So we do not allow. So there are certain things which we smartly play. We give them only read only access.
yeah,
The teams, the Spocks only will give a demonstration. That also will be like, you remember any when you go for a purchase of any product or any article, they have their own demos, which are fixed and very clean
Yeah.
shit. Only 5-minute demo, 10-minute demo. Okay, smartly give them what they want in terms of assurance and control. Beyond that, you don't show them anything. Limited,
Yeah.
if you show them limited, they will only be able to give you observation or indents, okay, any, only till that limited. But if you open
Got
the
it.
full Pandora box by you entering in the command line and that fellow demanding, okay, do like this, then they will go left, right, and center and do a negative testing,
Got it.
which
Got
you
it.
should stop. So smartly, what we did it in means I have also learned after, I also faced many over smart auditors also certain time,
Yeah.
which are really smart to handle but very difficult to handle. So these are the some kind of tips I would like to give, like create demos already. Right, you are a infosec, they
Mm.
will ask you certain
Got
security
it.
tools ka demos, like DLP they will ask only, data leakage prevention, IPS, everything, these kind of things, the basic things they will ask. If you are already ready with demos, so and another thing which I came across is, see, when we are multinationals, some of our spokes might be international and our India time, so that time zone difference also will be there. It will be very difficult for them to also join. And they give hard time to those people who have never faced any auditors. So it is better to handle identify some spokes in your own Indian team, give them these kind of demos which are, or presentations which are already ready, restrict that scope
Yeah.
or visibility, because I have seen auditors, okay, if you show them the whole product, okay, go in that tab, go to open that functionality, go, what is that configuration, they will learn also and they'll give you observation.
Yeah.
You are only giving them a ready plate to give you observation. So
To
you
give
should
you
know
observation.
how much to show, what to restrict, smartly play, create demos and presentation. It's best. Then you tell them whatever indent you want, I will give you. But you do not show them all
Yeah.
functionality. Jitna tum usko dikhaoge, utna they will ask you more questions and they will also learn and they will give you observation, sure shot. Because believe me, audit also is a subjective matter. And how smartly that
Yeah.
auditor plays or how the auditee plays most critical. Usually we try to you know we keep staff who are actually experienced in handling auditors, and then they also know how, even if the person is not smart, he knows okay, this is a toughest challenging question coming in, so they know how to cut it and tell them, okay, I will get back to you by talking to my stakeholder, or I shall get back my stakeholder who handles that. So that is how we can break. So how smartly you handle that is very, very important. And don't try to say
उससे ज़्यादा नहीं.
you are infosec and you will give technology answer. Actually, I think this, then they get observation because they know there are gaps between both the departments, and believe me, there are always gaps, so they will take
Yeah.
advantage of that
Yeah.
gaps. So you need to be
No, I
extra
think
extra careful how you manage it.
I think this is a key takeaway that I'm also taking, like, creating the demo videos. I think this is something I'm going to share with a lot of my friends, like all the critical functionalities and the basic one like DLP and everything. I think if there can be a demo video, just give it to them that, this is how we do it. Now you tell me what more. But if you open a live demo then and there, then they will take you for a ride.
So that was my
So I
learning
think,
also. What happened was my international team had to, because that in multinational usually they are the owners and we
yeah,
are the so we have to call them for those demos
operators,
because they
yeah,
only have admin control. So when they show, they are weak in English. Okay, they have some Spanish and other languages. That's why, and the opposite person. So there are chances they may fumble. So best idea is to create demos. So I have
yeah,
instructed all my teams to give me demos of their products, and I have given them key points. So see, first you start with user management, MFAs. Okay, how that product is used, what are the objectives, audit trails, what are the functionalities, security wise, what configuration. Only that much you show. No extra
got it.
information, no extra functionality, no tab to be opened. Only that much. And you should know how to, prepare that presentation and demos. You'll
Yes,
have to
yes.
manage so that it cannot be seen only in your demo. If it's not seen, what they will ask, because they are also
What they will
learning.
ask.
Believe me, they don't remember. They're also as human being like us. So even if that person has done audit as a consultant in some other organization and coming for the same audit of that particular product, he or she won't remember.
Yeah, agree,
So
agree.
what you show them, okay, if you divert those conversation and manage the conversation, that is only important. So this is what I have made. I created
Got it.
all demos with all the specialized team members. So I have guided them, they have made it, I have reviewed it, and then only it gets approved, and then only that will get presented to my regulator or any auditor. So any
No, I
auditor
think
coming in,
one of the very,
easiest way,
I
just give
think
them
one of the
those,
very
okay,
key
take these videos, there are these 10 12 controls and products in my environment, best of securities, you can go through them, give them, they will be very happy they got that. But you are only showing them that much which you want, and it is perfect in place in your environment.
yeah. It's like driving the conversation rather than getting driven.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the point.
I think Komal, that was a very, very important point that you covered. Because I think in audit, we always get fascinated by let him ask. But I think if you give them the boundary, so I think then that's what you define that how long you want to play. So with that, Komal, now what is that one very, very key closing remark that you want like to give to the audience? Now that could be young folks want to entering the audit, or the new team members, or the existing founders, those who are going to face their first audit, or just entering the playground. What is that one key takeaway, that closing point, the closing that you want to give away?
Preparedness research, okay, is the most homework you do before you enter in that scope of it. If you are doing that homework, even the auditors who want to actually audit, they will smart off the opposite person, even if the person is specialized and working on that tool for more than 15-20 years. Even if you
Yeah,
are new, you can actually audit them, because you will give
yeah,
them value addition. You will give them the gap or the risk oriented observation that that person will also maturely happily take it. See, believe me, I'll tell you one thing. I, as a management, as a senior leader, I also take gaps which are risk oriented. I would also love to accept it, and happy to take it when someone identifies for me. So it's all always, either I only take one statement during the audit. Either auditee needs to take a value addition, or the auditor will take a value addition. Either or, both should have some
yeah.
learning. Either I will learn from the auditor, or the auditor has to learn from the auditee. As
Got
simple as
it,
that.
got it.
So this game is purely based on this principle as per me, and I always ensure that we play in that boundary game so no one can touch you. So that's why you
Got
will be
it.
confident also, believe me. If you and this is not that on the last day only, when 15 days prior that auditor will come, you'll do. You have to continuously train your teams like that. So I whenever
Yeah,
I talk to my team and I allocate work and ensure and try to check as a supervisor, I always tell them, okay, so think I am a RBI or any auditor. I will question you this. What is the answer? Are you prepared? No. Then you make it. So that is how. So self assessments and gaps and all those things are always helping. So always do your homework before either you are on grounds to actually complete your work, or you are auditing also. Both will help in both parties.
got it, got it. Komal, thanks a lot, for covering a lot of difficult topics in a simple language. I think whosoever would be listening to this, you will understand that if you want to be audit ready, be prepared, document it right then and
Demo,
there.
demo.
You create boundaries rather than your auditor create the boundaries. And eventually you need to own the game, because you know it better than you auditor doesn't know it. So Komal, thanks a lot, for covering such an important topic. I know 30-40 minutes are not, it's not at all enough to cover your 25 years experience. So probably we'll have some time second round of conversation with you, but really appreciate your time to take out time on a weekday evening to sit with us and to discuss with us. Thank you so much, Komal.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.